Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. And today we're going to be doing this card, or a variation thereof. Okay, so we're going to be doing this sort of lattice on the back to make sort of, you know, that really nice sort of basket weave fence sort of look, with all the lovely blooms on there. Okay, so the products we're going to be using are the Thoughtful Expressions bundle. So great stamps, nice florals and everything, and we've got some lovely sentiments, and I absolutely love the dies in this. So I've used these a few times now to create with. And then I'm also pulling out these, which are called the Paper Butterfly Accents. I think they're in with the Lavender Sweet and collection kind of thing, but obviously you can buy them separately. There are 5 butterflies on each sheet, and I think you get 8 sheets, and I think you get 40. Yeah, 40 of these lovely paper butterflies to use. Okay, so you can see that's one there, and obviously because they're white we can colour them in a variety of different ways. So without further ado, we'll crack on. Okay, so first things first, we'll get this lattice sorted out. So what I'm going to do first is just die cut a ring. This is from the Stylish Shapes. Is that the biggest circle? Yeah, it's the biggest circle. Let me just grab those dies. So the biggest circle from Stylish Shapes is on the inside there, so it's got the stitched detail on it. Oops, that magnetic plate's just stuck to there. And I'm also using the decal circle. So that was the biggest one, but I wanted the largest aperture I could get. So I've used the decal circles, which come in much bigger sizes, and chosen one to go around there, but it'll still fit comfortably on a card front. Okay, so what's that number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 8th one I've chosen to do there. So I've just tacked those down with some tape. As long as your dies don't cross over, they're not going to damage each other. So we're just going to run those through the die cut machine to cut that circle that we can work on. All right, so that's going to form the basis of that circular element there. Okay, and then the other reason this card came about was because I have a lot. Oh, whoopsie daisy! That edge didn't quite catch on the plate, so I'm just going to have to readjust that. It's just hung off the edge a little bit, which means it hasn't cut all the way through. So bear with me a second while I just sort that out. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. So that edge, because it had hung off the edge of the plate, hasn't quite cut. So I'm just going to run that through once more, making sure that's on the cutting plate. And of course we've got a nice circle that we can use for something else. So that'll be another project in the making, I'm sure, because I shall have to do something with those. So as I was saying, the other reason this design came about was because as part of my kind of prep, or possibly even when I'm having a bit of a crafter's blank and I need to just sort of see my room, and my craft room that is, and just have a bit of a think about what I'm going to do, I'll just sort of pre-cut some card layers, and when I do that I end up with these little strips of cardstock. So I'm just popping all this stuff out of the way, sorry about that. So there's the frame. So I end up with strips of cardstock like this when I'm cutting down my my card layers. Okay, so I've just sort of been keeping them, and they've kind of gradually stacked up on the desk there. So I wanted to think of a way of using them up, basically. So I've taken some of those and I've actually cut them down. The length isn't probably very important. I just so happen to have cut them down to approximately 5 inches. You get a couple of strips out of each, a couple of these out of each one then. But basically they need to be big enough to kind of cover the maximum diameter of that circle. And as long as they're that long, you're good to go. I've got a whole bunch of them ready because you may use some more than others, and you've got to go that way and this way. So I've got a whole bunch of those ready to go. I'm going to bring in a silicone mat as well, which is going to help us with a few things. It's going to keep that circle steady for us, and it's also going to make sure I don't get the desk all mucky with my my tape. Okay, so it's not overly complicated, it's just a little bit more time consuming, but I think the effect is worth it. Just popped a couple of bits of tape across that top section there. Okay, and we're going to pop on a couple of these and secure them across there. So obviously you're going to space them out a little bit to create that look, and just securing them at one end. I need a bit more tape there. Could totally use wet glue for this if you wanted to, whatever your preference is. You can just use that. I think we'll put another one either side. Okay, but we're leaving this end free so that we can weave our other strips across. Okay, so another one in on there. Okay, I feel like if I was to use wet glue on this, I think I'd get into a terrible mess, but there you go. So now we've got these going that way, we need to start feeding these through. So just sort of like you would do any kind of weaving really. So it's up and down, up and over each of those strips. We're probably going to need to have some tape along the sides now to secure these. So it doesn't matter if it goes over the edge because we've got the silicone mat there, and we'll tidy it up afterwards. So we can sort of shuffle this along and get it nestled in under here. In fact, what we might have been better off doing is putting these ones on afterwards so that we could get this closer in to there. So we'll just adjust that slightly. I did hesitate doing that, and then but I couldn't think of a really good reason why I was hesitating, so that's the reason. Okay, so you have to just watch that they don't go all sort of wonky while you're doing it. Okay, so it is a bit more of a time-consuming technique, and I'm not worrying about securing the edges either at the moment. Sorry, in the you know, the cross sections. I'm just gonna let them be. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we need to continue doing that up and down. So that the first one went under, so we want to go over this time, and then under the second one, over, under, and hopefully you don't stick to it all. Okay, and once you've got it there, if you just wiggle that up, get it evenly spaced with your one above it, secure it on the edges, and then you can straighten up your other ones. Okay, so those are in place now, and we can keep on doing that. So what we're doing, we're going under, over. Okay, so just take your time. So just sticking to the sides of this a bit. Okay. Again, just wiggle it until it gets to where you want it. Tack that down. Okay, and then eventually we'll get to the bottom and we can secure everything in place. Okay, so let's just keep going with this. Oh, everything's misbehaving. Oh my goodness. Right, I did it in no time when I was not filming it. And it all went very swimmingly. But hey ho. Okay. So, oh, whoops, got two there. So, under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay. Again, if you just sort of wiggle it, or shuffle its way up the and catch underneath there. It's just not got quite enough glue underneath it yet, so just pop a little bit more there to secure that one in place. So these ones being wonky won't matter until we come to the end here, and then we can tack everything down properly. So the other way you can secure things is by we could put another ring around the edge, and then that will sandwich everything together, if you know what I mean, and secure everything if you wanted to do that. But you'd have to be quite precise with the die cutting. So over. Oops, I can't pick these up. Gosh, I'm going to blame the fact that I've just done some washing up and my hands are really, like, you know, your hands get, well, my hands get very, very smooth. Kind of lose their grip a little bit. Right, okay, so, oh, I think I've missed a bit there. You know what, obviously I'm not going to worry about that too much, and once we've got everything put together we probably won't notice, but that looks good on the other side anyway. Okay, apart from the fact I've skipped a couple. Okay, were you all telling me off because I'd skipped some? Were you all shouting at the screen? Doesn't matter, it'll be absolutely fine, and we've still got loads of these strips left, so you know, might have to think of another card or project idea to make with those other strips. Okay, so now we've got to the end. I'm just going to secure these down now, get them straight and in position. Any other bits and pieces that need to be secured you can do, and yeah, you bend the card a little bit, but you know, we're looking for that kind of rustic look, so it's all going to work out just fine, I'm sure. So that's like that. I think we just need to secure this one. I'll pop that down. That one seems to be all in place, and I think that will do. Okay, so then we just want to take some scissors and run around the edge of that and get all those excess pieces all cut off, and make sure we've got no glue hanging about. So I'm just going to kind of go underneath these and get these cut down. Okay, and when I've done that, I'll be back. Okay, so now we've got that all cut out. Sorry, just making sure we're zoomed to the right level. We're going to get all that popped down onto the car base. So again, that will help secure everything. So we can just run around the edge of this with some multi-purpose adhesive. Okay, and you can put a bit on some of those little crisscrosses as well, and we can just make sure that that is stuck down. I quite like mine going in a diagonal, so we'll just pop that there. Okay, and wipe away all that glue off my hands. So that's ready to go. Okay, so we'll just do a bit of stamping and colouring now. So we've got all of our lovely blooms from that stamp set. Thoughtful Expressions this is from. So we'll get these all stamped so that we can get them coloured in. So I'm using Memento ink for this. And I used 2 on the thing, but I think for the sake of demonstration, I think we can just we'll just do the 1, and then we can just die cut them all in one go. Oh, and the other thing I need is my sentiment, so we can pop that on the end here as well, because we're going to fussy cut that as well. So I want to make sure that's really well inked. Okay, so we'll pop that over there, and that's ready to be cut out when we get to that point as well. So what did we use on this one? We had some yellow flowers for this for the sample card. So we're going to go with some purples for this one, and we're going to go with some Old Olive to colour in the greenery. So we've got these sort of I don't know, classical sort of leaves that I'm going to do with the dark marker. They're really tiny, they're not really so I'm not really going for blending these, and I'm not even particularly colouring them particularly accurately. I just want to add some colour nice and quick. So we'll just use the dark and the light marker just to colour those in. Like I say, no, oh, I think I need a new set of Old Olive markers. The other end, sometimes you find that the other end hasn't quite run out, but that's getting a bit on the dry side. I didn't realise that would be the case. So just enough there to get that done. So that needs to go on my next order then. Some Old Olive markers. Okay. And then I've got some Highland Heather, Highland Heather, which I'm going to use the dark marker to do these little sort of blooms. They kind of scribbly look anyway, so a bit of scribbly colouring was just the ticket there, and we'll just pop in some lines here and there on these larger ones, you know, where the stamp's given us the shading. We'll pop that darker one in there, and then we can go over that with the lighter marker. You instantly get some shade just by using the combination of the markers there. I did bring out my fresh freesia markers as well in case we needed them, but I think this will do the job. Those two colours. Okay. And then the only other thing to colour while we're doing that is our little butterfly. So you will want some scrap paper, and I'm using Lemon Lolly and just going over this. So you're going to get a nice smooth effect if you use the blends rather than the rather than the water-based Stampin' Right markers. They'd work, but you kind of get like streaks if you try and colour too much with Stampin' Right marker, a bit like you would with a felt tip pen. So more suitable for, as they say on the tin, writing. If you want, to handwrite your cards in coordinating ink. Did both sides just to make sure I've got even coverage. That also means as well that if I just, the antenna I needed to go over again. Also means that if I can actually stick this down in either orientation, it can float that way or it can float this way. Okay, so either way it's going to work. So that's going to dry completely. Okay, so you don't get any streaks or anything when you colour with those. So he's going to dry it off, and we need to die cut these. So the coordinating dies are what we need, which I hadn't already got out, which was daft. So we need this one, and this one. And there's loads of other things that we could add if we wanted to. So just grab some bits of tape so that we can, hopefully, we can get all these done in one. Like I say, so long as they don't overlap each other, we aren't going to have a problem. So let's see how we get on with that. And just line those up. Okay, nice and easy, as long as you can pick up the dies. Okay, so that one's a bit close over there, but now we've got it in the right position, that's fine. So close but not overlapping, that's fine. Like so. So we'll run those through the die cut machine. Love the Stampin' Cutting Bass. Just sits here on my desk, ready. All of these would fit through a mini. We just obviously have to orientate them a bit differently to make sure they all fitted on the plate, but they would all go through. So we can tidy those up afterwards. And we need to fussy cut our sentiments, so use my other scissors to chop that down a bit, and then bring in the snips here to get this cut out. So we'll just follow this along the top and then around these squiggly bits. We'll chop off our little dot on our eye, which I believe has a technical term called a tiddle. Okay, that round. So move the paper and not the not your wrist and everything. So, and if you cut off the excess along the way, it helps you get your helps with some of the manoeuvrability on there. So just twiddling that paper rather than the wrist there. Just using that corner to do that. And then this bit's straight again. So we can take that all the way to the end there. Sweep away these out the way. And then just take off that end piece. So it's gone a bit curly on the way round, but if you take your bone folder, you can straighten that out. Okay, really nice and delicate. So we can pop things together now. I added ink to the frame on the other one, but I'm not going to do that this time round. I'm just going to leave it clean and white. But of course, if you feel like you want to do that, you can. So a few dimensional going on here. You don't need loads, you just need enough to secure the element onto the card. And sometimes a little bit of movement, shall we say, is quite nice. So on the sample, everything was oriented, the floral was oriented on the right. So we're going to go and pop these all to the left this time, just to give it a different look and a different idea. Okay, so we'll just build that around there. You could add more to that if you wanted to. I did 2 on the original of those kind of thing, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And we're just going to use a touch of wet glue to secure this butterfly. So just a little bit on that body there, and again, you know, don't need to smother it, we just need enough to get that tacked into place. And then same with this sentiment. We're just going to pop this on with our wet glue, just enough, and we're going to pop that across these flowers here, like so. Okay, I didn't actually put any embellishments on these cards, but of course feel free to add what you want to those. So different look, no ink versus ink, change the colours and the orientation a little bit, but like I say, the aim was to use up some of these strips that were on my desk and create something pretty out of them, and I hope you agree that that's turned out really pretty. I hope that's given you an idea too on how to use up some of the bits and pieces on your desk. Thanks for joining me today, slightly longer video, but I hope it was worth it. Hope you're staying safe, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.